morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Well, I'm Dr. Dana.
I'm Laura.
And this is Business Besties in Branson. I'm excited to talk to you this morning because what's really exciting is that this is episode 41.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Who would have thought?
I don't know, but that costs us a lot of money at Cracker Barrel.
I know, right?
And then we still go, we just go to talk. And then you think about, wait a minute, 41 times that we meet times $20.
Yeah.
Math must be important, but somehow I still don't have it. I have to ask my Siri all the time. But yeah, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is
right?
a lot of money.
Right, it is. And then when you think about, well, here we are in the studio. Thankfully, you have the studio, right?
Yeah.
And it belongs to you. But if we'd have to rent it, it costs money.
Yep.
Then we have to pay somebody to render the videos and the cameras and then get it all posted. It all costs money.
It does. Money drives business.
It does.
It drives every decision you make in your business, ultimately.
It really does.
I know there's so many times I'm like, oh, I'd love to do this. Love to do this. Oh, I wish we could do this. But it's money.
It's money. It's money.
So,
and in addition to money, though, it's also time,
Time. Yeah.
Time. When we were just every Tuesday morning here, I'm on a schedule. I can do this. I can get it done.
Yeah.
Like that's how you get things done with time, right? You have to schedule it in. But then life, there's not enough time or money.
I find myself getting up earlier and earlier. Now I'm up between 3:30 and 4.
Oh my gosh.
And just trying to get done what needs to be done before I ever come to work. And then I work all day long, but I just found that when I'm at work, I'm not able to get everything done. So it's like I do it at home because it's quiet. I can concentrate, no interruptions. But I'm just like, at what cost?
Right.
At what point do you're just like, I'm done?
Yes.
And that's what we were going to kind of talk about. Like, when do you know to be done?
Right.
I don't have an answer for that. I
don't know that I have an exact answer either, but there are things that happen that make you realize it's time to be done. It's time to walk away. And sometimes it's an outside factor that helps you make that decision, which might be money.
Right.
But, when we took the class in Branson at the Branson Chamber, one of the first things they said is, what's your end game? I'm like, what's my end game? I'm just getting started. I don't have an end game. Right. But then as I started to think about it, everything in life has an end game, right?
Oh, absolutely.
From the minute we were born, we're living to die, right? Because that's going to happen to all of us. So when you start a business, well, when is it going to end?
Right.
Is it going to end when you die? Is it going to end with your children? Is it going to end because you ran out of money? Is it going to end because it's just lived its cycle and it's done? It's not your fault, my fault, anybody's fault. We're just moving on, I mean, there's ways to be done without it being bad. Right.
Well, and I think that, you have to look at that end game and what are your goals. And I don't know. I mean, because I already in my mind have end games for different parts of my different businesses. I know what different end games I want. And then there's times I'm like, maybe this one business is going to end before the others, because in order to get to the ultimate end game, things have, wane and wax. I mean, some things are going to kind of go by the wayside and some things are going to ramp up. And money's always, I think, one of the biggest factors. But it's really hard as businesswomen because we are geared to just go forward. No matter how hard it is, you just keep going.
Oh, you do.
You just
and
keep
you
going.
get up at 3:30 in the morning just to make everything work, even when you're going to bed after midnight. But it doesn't matter because you keep going.
You just because that's just so ingrained in us.
It is.
And so then you think about that end game. It's like, am I working towards the end game, or am I just swimming here in the middle, and I'm really not even getting to the end game?
Right.
And I don't have an answer for that because everybody's answer is going to be different.
Oh, sure, absolutely. What I think is done and over. Maybe somebody else is like, oh, no, I can pick this up and run with it, right? So you just don't know.
I know. We were talking about like another business owner that we know, like, okay, they've got a great business, they've got a great plan, but maybe Branson isn't going to be the place for them to have that business. So again, as a businesswoman, you're like, okay, so how am I going to pivot? Right. And I'm going to go a different direction. Same business, but maybe take it to a bigger city.
Absolutely.
So if that's the way you pivot, just because you're struggling here doesn't mean you won't struggle here.
That's
Maybe
true.
you just need to go here.
That's true.
Yeah, and I think that's with everything. I mean, like we talk in our shop a lot about pivot. What is the latest thing? We're going to pivot and we're going to offer that. We're going to do this, and it's constant change.
It is.
You have to be so flexible.
And if you're not, then the end game is going to come sooner than later, right? Because you're going to be out on that.
Yes.
You have to know what's the newest thing, what's the newest fad, what do people want?
Yes.
In order to provide that for them.
Yes.
Because what they wanted 5 years ago is not what they want today.
Nope.
And definitely what they wanted in the 80s is not what they wanted today.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
I know.
And you have to change.
I know. And it's funny that when you talk about money, it's like, so when money's not coming in from one direction and you do pivot, maybe you create a different revenue stream. So you just keep going.
Yeah, you do.
You just keep going. And maybe your end game has to change. Why can't our end game change in the middle of it?
That's true.
It can change.
It sure can change.
Yeah, we're adults. We can do whatever we want.
Well, right. And I mean, even if you think in a basketball game or football game, I mean, the end of the game is going to be there, but coaches change their plans all the time.
Yeah.
They train, and they get to the end like, we're doing it this way, right?
Yeah.
They're going to change something to make a difference, to win it, or to get them somewhere further in line. And so I think for our businesses, we have to think about that. What is it that we really want? And I know even starting out with the Rogue Chef, I'm like, I just want to get a few gigs. Like, this is kind of cool. We get to go and cook for people,
Yeah.
And now I'm like, oh my God, look how many people we're cooking for. Now what? What's next? Like, what do I want? How do I want to grow this? What do I want to expand? So I don't know that I could completely think about an end game at the beginning because I've already hit that end, right? Like,
yeah.
I want to get enough guests that we're working every single week and I don't have to teach anymore.
Yep.
Yeah, you there already.
Right.
Yeah, now where are you going?
Yeah,
Right?
what's the new end game?
Right. I want to get to where I hire some chefs and they do work. Okay, you're doing that too now.
Yeah.
What's next, right?
Right.
So it's not really the end, but it's like these mile markers that you're making in your business, but then all come with financial obligations.
Absolutely.
That you have to think, okay, do I want to pay more chefs? Do I want to pay for these things to be done, the advertisement, the marketing? And then for me, I think it's easier to be able to talk about money and how we do this. But for Jeff, like, this is his passion. This is his love.
Right.
He loves to cook. I hate to cook, just for the record. I know it's like the weirdest
Me too.
thing. Okay, good. Good. Confessions.
That's right.
It's just not my thing. I just don't like being there. But for Jeff, he absolutely loves it. So when somebody's like, I want this, this, and this, and he's like, absolutely, we can do it. I'm like, hold on a minute. That costs money. And how much time is this going to take you to get it done? And he's like, yeah, but like my cinnamon rolls are the bomb, right? I'm like, yeah, but how long does it take you to make those? And it's just bread. You can't charge an arm and a leg for all that.
Right.
Oh, yeah, I know they love it. Okay, so, you just kind of have to go with that. So where if it was my decision, for an end game, like, I'm not offering these things because they cost too much time and, the bread doesn't cost too much money, but that time factor is huge.
Absolutely.
And so I just cut it off the menu. I'm like, sorry, we don't even offer that. But for him, he's like, no, I want you to taste this. You are going to fall in love with my food when you taste this, So you have to think about that. And same, like, John's Cerakote, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not Cerakote.
No, I am not Cerakote, and I don't Cerakote. And, the thing is like right now, technically we're not in a recession, but okay, times are really tough and people are struggling.
Absolutely.
Cerakote is one of those things, kind of like artwork. When times are hard, people are not buying big paintings and doing all these things. I mean,
okay, that's true about food. I just want to click in there. Like, people aren't eating fancy food and expensive food when times are tough.
No. Well, absolutely. And, so for us, it's like we had to just come down to the part of this is how much it's costing in labor and materials and this and that and the other. And, when you have a huge workflow going, it works because you can put so many different things all into the mix. When you're doing one project at a time, no, we cannot pay employees to do all of that because the overhead is too great. And so I just told John, I said, we just need to make a decision if we're going to be taking projects right now, because unless it's a production project, we end up paying money. And I said, we can't do that as a business. That was a really hard decision. And it took me a few months, of statistics to
Right.
say, here's where it is.
Right.
It's in black and white. What do you think? And he's like, oh.
Right.
Oh. And I'm like, yeah, but here's where we do make money with Cerakote. Let's train people. We're good at it. We know our stuff, and we make money on it. So let's do the training. And not saying that Cerakote's going away. Of course it's not.
Right.
But for right now, we had to pivot.
Right.
So later, we'll be right back to it. We still have everything. We're not getting rid of anything. So you just have to make some hard decisions, like cinnamon rolls.
Right.
Like, you're right. I mean, the amount of time it takes, time is money.
It is.
And if it takes you that much time, but you can't have that much of a markup on it, then there's got to cut some stuff.
I know.
And those are hard decisions to make.
It is hard. And it also makes me see how corporations, like, I'm always like, I hate the corporation. They're always making these rules. And, when I worked at different places, like, well, they're not down here working with us. Well, no, because if they were, they wouldn't be making those decisions that make them enough money so they can be there.
Right.
Because you have to be able to step back and say, hold on, this is costing too much money.
Yeah.
And then people are like, oh, all you care about is money. If I don't have money, I can't stay in business.
That's right.
So I can't provide for you whatever it is that you want from me if I can't stay in business.
I know. And I think, we talk about inflation and all, and everything's so expensive, but companies have to raise their prices. When their supplies are to the point that they can no longer bear that burden, because I used to have that mindset, like, they're just so money hungry if they don't have their bottom line. No, that's not true. I know that now as a business person.
Yes.
Like, they will eat as much as they can until it gets to a point that we have to make changes. We just have to make changes. It was hard when we raised our stencil prices. And then, now it's like, well, we go on Etsy and I see people selling stencils for a fraction of what we are. And I'm like, I know what they're paying for all of that. And they literally made $1.
Yeah.
I'm not in business to make $1.
No.
If I made $1, then we wouldn't be in business.
No, that's true.
So it's like, okay. So I think it goes back to, again, that shopping local type of thing. If you want to have these services and be able to use them, then you better be supporting them.
That's right.
So if you want to save a few dollars on Etsy and buy that, that's great. But when they are done, they're out. And when our business is done, we're out. And then you're not getting any of it.
Right.
So think about those things.
Right. And those small businesses in the community, then the community loses too. Like, I think about so many small businesses who just close up and they can't, they can't make it for financial reasons, for time reasons, for whatever the reasons. But so many businesses are leaving.
I know.
That you think, oh.
I know. Yes. And I know in our community, there are businesses leaving. And it's like, and the thing is that the negative impact is you have empty storefronts,
right? Less
tax base. And I know that people are like, it's just taxes. They have more than enough taxes. Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Is that why we have all the potholes in the road? Okay, there you go.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean,
potholes aren't priority.
No, that's right.
We're talking about where the money's going to go.
Yeah, is your money going to go to clean your water or fill your pothole?
Right.
It's your water. Your water's more important. It's
Always.
a basic need.
Always.
So, and that comes right back around to the business. Like, you have basic needs that have to be met. You have to make enough money, but then there's times that we don't make enough money.
Sure.
And we still keep going.
Absolutely.
And there are times I wonder, like, how are we still here?
Right.
I don't know, but
I do know.
Going.
I do know. Like, God is the only thing that some days just keeps us going.
Yeah.
Because if it was not for him saying, go, 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 like, I gave you breath this morning, your heart is beating, and there's a reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe it's just that you need to cross paths with somebody else and make their day, smile, whatever. I don't know. But God has you here for a purpose, right? And so for him, like, okay, we'll keep this business going because I need you to do this or this. Yeah. Or when it's time, he'll let you know.
Yeah.
Like, I never thought I would leave education. I mean, good Lord, I have a doctorate degree in it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, who's leaving that? And then I knew. Like, I remember saying, like, y'all know I'm going to resign. I'm going to move on, And it was like, wow, God, you're saying this. Like, you're doing this. Like, if it was not for God doing these things, I would not be able to jump over into the Rogue Chef and like, run with it, 40 hours a week. Oh, wait.
Absolutely.
Way more than 40 hours.
Oh,
a week.
yeah.
I was thinking
40 hours. That's such
maybe.
a joke.
I know.
Because even if you're not like physically working, you cannot tell me that you don't sit there and watch TV, watch something, listen to something, and go, oh, we could use this in our business. And it's like your
Absolutely.
mind still is right there. It's like you never leave your business.
No,
It might as
no.
well be a child living in your home.
Absolutely.
I
Yes.
mean, it's always there.
Oh, yeah. And if we are watching TV, we're just like, oh, just sit down and relax or something. I'm doing my social media or I'm looking for new things or things. You're right. Absolutely.
It never stops.
No.
know.
Even like, let's go here and like, let's not think about this. And then, oh, wow, look at that. I think we could do that. Or
Yeah.
taste this food. What is this ingredient? You know, and
And I think those are the things that make it hard to think about ever stopping, because
Agreed.
there's always hope and ideas and your creative mind and like, here's what we can do for people.
Right.
Here's what we can do for people. And you don't want to stop.
no,
Yeah.
you don't. You
So-
absolutely don't want to stop. And you don't think about, like in a normal job, you're like, I want to retire, I want to get out of here. You know, I'm tired of these people bossing me around. And in this job, you're like, I'm bossing myself around. You know what I mean? And then sometimes I'm like, don't you boss me around. You know, I say to Jeff, he's like, okay. You know, like, I don't know. I just
Oh
need
my
to
God.
feel like I don't know what I'm doing some days.
And if we weren't doing it, I don't even know what life would look like.
No.
Like what would the purpose be?
True.
I have no answer for that, because it's like I can't conceive of not having a business. I mean,
Right.
I can, but I can't, because I'm like, oh yeah, we could do that. We'd be, but then in the real sense of I wake up in the morning. What would I do?
Right.
Like, I mean, like right now I have a purpose. I get up, I know what I need to do, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I didn't have that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I think I'd be a little bit lost. Like, oh,
I agree.
yeah.
You would, I know you and your personality,
Yeah.
you would pick up something else.
Oh,
You
I would. I have.
follow somebody else and like, let me do all this for you or let me do all that to help you. Because those are the kind of people we are, right?
Right,
And that's how
right.
we function.
But I like doing it,
I do too.
and I don't want to stop.
Agreed.
And I
Okay.
certainly don't want to go back and work at a hospital
No.
ever again.
No, I don't want to go back to public education
No.
ever again.
No.
So some of that is also what drives us to keep going to, you know, there's not an end game. Right?
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Like, it's like thinking about, do I want to obey the rules or do I want to go to jail?
Right.
I think I'll obey the rules.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not built for prison, you know?
No.
So,
No, me either.
but yeah, I mean, the alternative, I don't want to go back to my old life.
Right. That's
So,
it.
No,
That's it. That's it.
let's move forward.
Right. And I think that's really a good lesson, like to just keep looking forward, keep looking forward.
Yeah.
I heard the sermon briefly about Lot's wife. Did you know the story about, you know, Lot?
Yeah.
Lot's, you know, they told her, don't look back. And she looked back with sort of that longingness of like, I'm going to miss where I was, so much so that God, you know, turned her into a pillar of salt.
Yeah.
And I never really cared about that story, whatever, until they said, the Bible says, remember Lot's wife, right? And I
Yeah.
was like, so what? Why do we remember her? Remember her because we don't want to look backwards, right? I don't want to look backwards thinking, oh man, I wish I was there so much that God just says, fine, go back, do whatever it is you want. But you know what I have for a future ahead of you? Like if she would have looked forward, keep
Right.
looking forward, keep moving forward, God has so much more in store for us.
Oh, yeah.
And I get excited thinking about it. You know, like you wake up and you're like, okay, God, what's the plan? What's the plan? And even when things don't go right, you know, like you forgot this or I have to go back and get this. You know, sometimes the chefs are notorious of forgetting things, even though we go over the menu beforehand. It just happens. It's
yeah.
the human element in
Absolutely.
business, you know. Whatever happens, I'm always like, okay, God, there's a purpose. There's a purpose. There's a reason.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what it is, but
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and then I think you're right. It comes down to trust, because even if it's hard and we're not making it, or maybe we are making it, but we need to pivot, I think we just have to keep our eye on God, because I feel sorry for people who don't have God in their life, honestly.
I don't know how they do it.
There's such a purpose in our life and a peace.
Absolutely.
There's a peace that comes with it that no matter what, it's going to be okay.
Right.
Even
right,
down to death, it's going to be okay.
Right.
So, yeah, you know, and I think, so if you have a God-driven business, it's going to be okay. Whether it closes, whether it stays open, whether it pivots, whether it moves, whatever it does, God's got your back.
Absolutely.
So,
And for a very good reason. You know, it might be that it is time to close or it is time to stop. but he knows.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, he knows.
I know. Wow.
Hmm.
So,
Well, wow, what powerful thoughts. Like we were so kind of discouraged when I started this kind of thinking about all this time and money and time and money. But in reality, if we just stop worrying about time and money, God's like, I'll take care of the time. I'll take care of the money. You serve others, right? You take care of other people. You do what I put you here on earth to do,
yeah.
and I'll take care of the rest.
Yeah. Well, thank God.
Yes. Thank you, God. Thank you.
Because it's too much. It's too much for your mind to. It's overwhelming when you think about every little detail, and it's like I can't be in every little detail. I just can't.
No.
So let go.
Right.
And let go.
Easier. That's true. Like, oh, yeah.
A little cliche saying.
And I would also say it's way easier said than done.
Yes.
So people who are listening and like, oh, you can say that all day long. Absolutely. I'd be saying that same thing. Like, oh, yeah, ladies, just say that. Let God do it. It's very, very hard.
Yes. It is. And so we get up at 3:30 in the morning and we are constantly on our phone and coming up with ideas and we don't relax and do the things, they had that leading ladies recently for self-care. And I'm like, I can't go.
Right.
And because in my mind, I'm like, I know I don't take care of myself the way I need to. I mean, look at me. You can just tell it's like, golly, I would like to do more for myself. And I don't. And it's like, I don't want to be reminded of what I need to be doing.
True.
And I know that's terrible, but it's like, I don't know. It's so right back to it's not easy to say or easy to do.
No.
We know what we're supposed to do, and we don't always do it. And
which is also why we need people to encourage each other. Like women encourage women, like, hey, let's go get our nails done together, or let's go shopping, or maybe let's just go on the boat for a couple hours, like let our mind go and just feel the breeze, something,
Yes.
But if we don't have each other, if we don't have that support, sometimes we do find ourselves so far down those rabbit holes.
Oh, I know.
No way coming out.
I know. And boy, that's a good point. The rabbit holes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because Jeff ain't coming in to get me out. Like, yeah, see you in he knows it's gonna be crazy when I'm trying to get out.
He's probably like, "How'd you get down there? We were what? How did you get there?"
I think we've had that conversation so many times. I don't think he even asks questions anymore. He's just like, "Yep, you there again."
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, I think we are at 23 minutes, which is the perfect time for a podcast.
I agree.
What kind of advice do you want to give to women?
I think I want to fall back on just trust God. Fall back into him, trust him, because I don't have an answer.
Yeah.
I don't even have an end game for the Rogue Chef. I know where I want to go next. I know how I want to expand. I've got some ideas. But if I say, okay, God, here's my ideas. What do you want to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to do? Because I was like, I want to do this, I want to do that and that, but it didn't go anywhere. So then, okay, God, what do you want to do? And then let's see it run.
Right.
Because he's probably laughing at our ideas. We think, we're creative and fun, but God's plan is so much bigger than ours.
Oh, absolutely.
So my advice is like, trust God, and pray every day. God, just help me take care of this business. God, help me with what you want me to do with this business.
That is the perfect advice.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that is literally the perfect advice. Like, wow.
Yeah.
I couldn't have said it better. I wouldn't even thought it because, I mean, my mind is so down a rabbit hole itself. I'm like, oh, my God, that's perfect.
It is. We don't have any other answers.
Yeah. No, we don't.
No.
Yeah. So I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good. Well, thank you for chatting with me.
Of course.
It's good. And we'll talk to you next time.
Yes. Have a great afternoon.
You too.
Okay. Bye.